Record.
Okay, pressing record right now. Oh, dang it. We had so much content. I'm failing, man.
Press record.
Okay. Here's the beginning of the interview then. The new beginning. Anyway, dude. Yeah, welcome. Let's see.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm currently, so my wife and I, 2 years ago, I grew up in Los Angeles, born and raised down there. She grew up in northern Alabama, and she still has a lot of family there. And we had a good couple of years in LA. Like the business that we're in, it's very, you have some highs, you have some lows. It's not consistent.
Right.
And we had managed to have a good few years, but we realized we couldn't save because of the cost of living in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah.
So we decided to try Atlanta. So we packed up about 2 years ago and moved out to Georgia, and that's where we are now. So it's my son. I have a grown son. He's 20. Yeah. He'll be 21. He's still in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And it's really interesting. Like we talked before we started a little bit about you guys being in Washington and how inconsistent the way we're dealing with this situation we're in, like some states.
Yeah. It's hard to know. I don't know what's going on over there in Georgia or how things are being.
We're back to normal. We're back to normal.
Really?
Back to normal. Yeah. I'm not partaking in the normality.
Oh, okay.
But partaking.
As far so you don't have like a lockdown thing going on over there anymore? Nothing?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing. Not a thing.
Yeah, we're definitely not back to normal here.
Yeah, we're not back to normal here. We still got the governor Inslee said it's going to be extended at least through the end of May. Like
as it should be. Yep.
Yeah.
As it should be.
So that's pretty much what's going on here. And it's whatever. The only thing that's really hit me is I don't have any. Well, I have friends with like cars, which is good.
Yeah.
But they shut down the transit system like completely.
Right.
So
you living on campus? Are you?
I'm actually living on campus, and the thing about Evergreen is it's kind of a little bit out in the sticks.
Okay.
In order to get into town, you kind of have to know somebody. But I do actually have a couple friends here that are still living on campus as well, and they're able to get me into town when I need to get into town.
For supplies, groceries, and things like that.
Right, exactly. That's pretty much it. But
yeah, that's difficult, and I would imagine it's isolating too.
It kind of is, but one of the cool things about here at Evergreen is there's lots of like nature trails that you can walk around on, and like there's like this little beach area and stuff, so you can actually kind of get out and get some fresh air and just like whatever,
just a lot of solitude.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just walking by yourself like down a trail, but it's still you're not stuck in that situation where some people like kind of feel like they can't even like walk down their street because they're living in like urban areas and it's not like acceptable to do so.
Yeah, that's another example of how inconsistent it is, because for me, for example, I have kids that normally would be in school, and now all my kids are at home, so now I'm constantly surrounded by people, whereas JD, is mostly by himself. Yeah. So, I mean, everybody's just affected completely differently.
Yep.
That's true.
My mom lived in Los Angeles alone, and I had been following this going on pretty early, watching what they were doing in China, and it pretty quickly freaked me out because knowing China's human rights records and the recent stuff with the way they were treating ethnic Muslims in China, imprisoning millions of them, sending them to labor camps, their one-child policy, which now got extended to 2, but they have a horrible human rights record. And when they shut down China, I think the case count was 500 cases and 40 deaths. And that just didn't seem like something China would do for that small of a cost.
Yeah.
And so from that point, I told my mother, like, you can't go to the grocery store anymore. You have to stop taking public transportation. Like, they're not saying it yet, but trust me on this, things are going to get really bad. So my mom was very isolated, like you, but she's older, so it was affecting her. So we took her with us so that she didn't have to be completely alone. Yeah.
Dude, that's great. And also, like, I was reading some stuff about, like, something like van life. Like something, like I was like super stoked to like, because like I have this like thing where it's like, so part of the reason I want to do programming is because like my brother's like a really awesome programmer, and he lives like, as I said, like he lives in Estonia, but he can work from pretty much anywhere there's internet, boom, there's his job. And so I've always had this thing of like, if I could do something like that and travel and do like the van life thing that you were talking about, that would be like just so cool, man.
We met, we were introduced, a mutual friend, a young married couple, like maybe early 30s. They bought one of those Ford Transit vans and totally kitted it out inside. They did their own full lithium battery setup. So there's no generator. Everything runs off of battery power, like battery hot water heater, battery convection oven, blah, blah, blah.
Sweet.
Huge solar panels on top. He's a programmer as well. And that's what they do. He said they started with a Jeep Cherokee, and they were in a Jeep Cherokee with they cut the roof to put a pop tent on top where they could slide their bed. But they lived in Alaska in that for a year, and then saved up and made enough money to get their van. We're not that hardcore. We're really not. We have a home, you know. But
so wait, you're not like, because I was watching like an interview. I think it was like, I can't remember the guy's name. It was like not too long ago, but it was because you were showing him like the inside of your RV or something. It was like
right before the pandemic started up. I think the bass player from Avenged Sevenfold or something like that. That probably was what it was. Johnny Christ.
Yeah. Johnny.
Right.
It's like
is it Johnny Christ or Johnny Christ?
Something with Johnny. What was it called?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Drinks with Johnny.
But Drinks with Johnny. Yeah. I was watching that.
We got the van because I know that we have to work in Los Angeles. Work for this is sometimes it's all over different places, but we knew that Los Angeles was going to be a regular occurrence. So we got this van that it's just a Sprinter van. It's got a shower, it's got a kitchen, it's got a queen size memory foam bed in it. And each of us have like a 7-day space for clothes, like a little cabinet for clothes. Go wash your clothes every 7 days. But we drive that out, and when we work in Los Angeles, we set up camp out there. So that's what I was showing Johnny. It's a good setup. We got this tent too, that connects to the door, and it's 6.5 feet tall inside of the tent. And it connects, like you can drive the van away and leave the tent. If you get in a spot where it's going to be safe, leave the tent there, drive away the van, and then come back and you have a big living room. It's nice. It's fun. It's pretty vagabond.
That's really cool though.
In LA quite a bit.
What's that?
That probably helps with the cost of living down there.
Oh, insane. Yeah, absolutely. If you want, we've done it where we didn't stay at an RV park. We just parked it on the street, live wherever we want. We had like a 2-night rule. We realized if you park in a neighborhood, you can stay for about 2 nights before people start saying, this creepo in the van doing.
for sure.
We've done that before, and that cost of living is nothing, really. You steal water.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like here in Olympia, we have like this right downtown. There's this artesian well, and people go down there. Yeah, it's like honestly like the best water I've ever had. Like people just bring,
is it just a pump, or
it's just this? It's just this. It just spills out like constantly.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
cool.
And so people go down there and they grab their jugs and they fill them up and they take them home, and it's just like it's a really cool spot, especially in the summertime when you're just like shit. You're
water
walking around.
Water is a very, very important resource. Like I guess we can live like 40 days or something like that without food off of our internal. But what is it? 3 days without water?
It's not very long. Yeah, it's not that long with water. Yeah. Like without water, I should say. Yeah.
Do you guys watch? Hold on. There, my sister called. Had to decline that. Do you guys watch?
Sorry.
No, you're right. Better Call Saul. Have you guys watched that show?
Oh, I haven't yet. I watched the entirety of Breaking Bad, and I loved it.
Oh, you gotta watch Better Call Saul then, man. Oh my god.
So wait, all right. Tell us a little bit about it then.
So good.
Right?
Yeah. Odenkirk. Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Odenkirk. I know. You know what, man? I feel bad. There's some shows that I really feel like I should have been like delving into that I haven't. But I love Bryan Cranston. Like
you've got to watch Breaking Bad. We're gonna start this topic with that.
All right.
All right. It's especially now. What else are you gonna do? Like be productive, do some creative things.
Yeah.
But when you're zoning out at night, try out Better
just
Breaking
throw
Bad.
some stuff on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't watch Better Call Saul until you've watched Breaking Bad.
Until I've watched.
But then again, I wonder
just
if
watch
you
both,
could.
Right? Just alternate. I don't know.
I wouldn't alter because Better Call Saul is the prequel. Better Call Saul starts about 5 or 6 years before Breaking Bad starts, and it involves Bob Odenkirk is a lawyer for criminals, he's a criminal lawyer. But I bring it up because there was one episode in the new season where he's stuck in the desert without water, and it's such a good episode. Oh my god, it's so
good. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of guilty of there being like shows that I want to get into, and then I just don't. I get like caught up in other things. Like people get on my case a lot for not watching. What is it? Dang it.
Game of Thrones.
Yes. Holy shit! You just said it. You just knew it. Somehow you read my mind.
We ended up finishing it, but we were pretty late to it.
Yeah,
because Game of Thrones, the people that watch Game of Thrones are the type of people that are going to give you shit for not watching Game of Thrones. That's why it was so easy to guess.
And I think, you totally called it. That's funny.
It is a good show, Game of Thrones. I will say that. It's probably one of the most impressive television accomplishments. I think that they accomplished with that show things that no one has ever accomplished on television before, and I think it'll be a long time before they do again.
Yeah, I
agree with that. Despite the controversy of the last season.
Yeah, but I liked it.
I think the journey was still worth it.
I absolutely believe that too. I liked the last season because I didn't expect anything. A lot of people expect things from Game of Thrones. They got really attached and they personalized it. But if you just consider that it's just a freaking television show, guys, it was still really impressive what they managed to do. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. Is that the DVD set that you got there, JD?
Oh no. Okay, so like there's
it's one of the books.
It's a book.
Yeah,
I haven't read it yet, but like it's the Game of Thrones book, I guess.
There's 17 of them.
Really? Holy
there's
crap.
there's about 17 of them.
Better get started.
Well, Yeah, I guess I better get started then.
You know?
Yeah. But yeah, dude, and but yeah, I probably.
What do you
should
got
get
on that
stuff.
couch? What's the fiddles you got?
Oh, we got my.
Is that a Jazz?
It's a Squire Jazz. It's a Squire Jazz, but
Rad?
it's
Awesome.
Yeah, dude. It's like $400 guitar. I've been like jamming out on it like all the time. I really love it. It's like
they're P90s, right?
They're kind of like P90s. Yeah, pretty much.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
But yeah, like
beautiful.
Yesterday I went over to my friend's place here on campus, and we just like, he's like a really good drummer, and we were just jamming for like hours.
Rad.
And then I had like a bass. It's kind of a cheap bass. It's just like a Jackson bass, but it's like interesting because Jackson doesn't typically make basses that look like this.
What is that's also a Jazz? It's kind of like a P bass neck, or is it a Jazz? It looks like a P bass.
It's got like the P bass and the Jazz. It's like a combo. Yeah. So
doesn't it
is a little skinnier.
Jackson headstock?
It's not the typical like stab you in the face.
Oh,
yeah.
So I have a
DK2
Dinky Jackson guitar. And
it's
got that like sharp, like you could stab somebody with it.
Well, yeah. You could just like decapitate somebody with that thing. But yeah,
it's the hockey stick, not the hockey puck. The hockey stick.
Yeah, hockey stick. But so I don't know.
Dope. I've always wanted one of those. The only most of my guitars are based off of the Gibson, like the SG, and then my new favorite is this. It's the Yamaha 2000, which is the Yamaha's ripoff of SG. I'll come over and show it to you.
Sweet, yeah, definitely.
This guy. They're like, this is like old 70s. You can get them really cheap. It's the Carlos.
That has a tremolo on it, like dual.
Yeah, I put the trem. Yeah,
the Bigsby. Yeah.
Oh, that's a Yamaha on it. Yeah,
wow, that's kind of cool,
Yamaha. Man. What is it called? SG 2000.
SG 2000. Okay.
And it's the thing that's so rad about it. They have they put a brass plate underneath the bridge. The bridge is attached to this huge brass plate mounted into the mahogany body. So the thing weighs like 20 pounds. It will ruin your back. But the sustain on it is crazy.
That's awesome.
And I think I got that for $400 too.
That was how much I paid for that. For the Jazz.
But I don't have, the only one that I have that's like a Gibson. It's my son and I. Here, I'll show that to you too. Okay. My son and I kind of put it together. It's based off of a Telly,
Oh yeah.
We cut the body. It's only got a single pickup, and then I got a carven neck on it.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
JD's been kind of a Telly guy for a while.
I had this. Oh man, it's a great guitar. I feel really sad that I got rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm the person that like I buy like instruments, I record with them, I make whatever, and then I sell them stupidly, and then I regret it over and over and over and over and over. So I had this.
But a new instrument, I think a new instrument brings with it new inspiration. Like if you're stuck, pick up a new instrument and it'll.
Well, I've always been like a fan of jazz masters. They've been kind of a little bit of the underdog, but they have like a really like a lot of the alternative scene picked up on them. Like
was it
Jay Mascis, Dinosaur Jr., like Sonic Youth.
Youth.
Bands like that.
Cobain played a Mustang, right? Not a jazz master.
Did.
Yeah.
Oh, he played a Jaguar too, I think.
A Jaguar, that's it.
Yeah.
I think there was a Mustang and a Jaguar, wasn't there?
Yeah. I think he did play both of those. Yeah.
I want something with P90s on it. P90s.
That Aerodyne Telecaster made in Japan that I had back in the day. It was like a black Telly. It had like a P90 in the neck Standard Telecaster pickup in the bridge, and then it had this cream binding on it that was so like aesthetically pleasing. It was just why did I get rid of that freaking
and
guitar?
Those Japanese
why did I
ones,
do that?
people now, it's the Japanese Fenders, people now realize how amazing they are, and they've gotten very expensive.
Yeah, and I've looked online, I've looked on eBay, and I found the guitar, and I'm just like, dude, I bought that because it was like a clearance thing. Because they were phasing it out. Because I don't know why Fender does this. They just take the greatest guitars and they just like discontinue them. Yeah. That's just their thing they do. But like, so I got it for like, what is it, like 400, 450 or something? When it's like an 800. Well, it was like, I mean,
what is it, like $900 now? 800.
Now, if you look at it on eBay, if you can even find one, you're gonna pay like at least $900 for that thing. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Those Japanese ones are good stuff.
Yeah,
I was having today. Do you know those H9 pedals? Yeah. Do you know? Have you heard of those? The Eventides. It's
I know Eventide, but I don't know exactly what pedal you're.
These guys.
What are those?
It's a multi-effect, but it only plays one effect at once. So Eventide they have four pedal lines, like time factor, which is delays, pitch factor, which is pitch modulation, mod factor, which is like flanger and chorus. All of these different lines, and they're huge pedals. And those are $500 each. It's a delay pedal that will do every delay. It's a mod pedal that will do every mod.
I love
this will do all of those, but it only does one at a time. So it has the brains to do each one of those. And you can do one at a time.
I actually really like that.
It's amazing.
I have a few of those that have tons of effects on them, but they get confusing real fast. Yeah, you start like layering stuff, and then like you don't even know like what. Oh, that's awesome! But then what was it? And then it's gone. So
these. I think I'm gonna reroute my pedal board tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna go and take it apart and because I was playing through my effects loop recently. Normally I don't. Normally I go straight into the amp, but I'm really liking the effects loop sound. But to do things like going through the effects loop, I'm losing the swell that I had. When a volume swell. Yeah. With a long delay at the end, I can't do that now. So I want to figure out how I can do that through the effects loop. I don't think it's going to be possible, but I'm going to try.
Like, what exactly you're trying to achieve?
So you have on the end of your chain, if you have a long delay, and you bring the volume all the way down on your guitar and you play you play your chord and then you swell the volume up. It's like a big wave that comes up and down. You never hear. There's no attack. It eliminates all attack. It's just
Like attack's just gone. There's no like Gotcha.
Right, and I can do that with the knob through the effects loop, but I'm really lazy. I want to do it through my foot.
I hear you.
And I can't do it. The volume pedal, I can't do it with the. I guess I could do it with a front volume pedal. Maybe that's all I need.
I don't know.
But I just solved it.
Cool. There you go. You just solved the problem.
I did.
But dude, like, because I remember like one of the first. I talked to you like a long time ago. I think I sent you
Twitters?
like on the Twitters. On the Twitters. And I looked at your amp setup and I was just like, dude, that's like fucking killer. Like I thought it was so cool. And then you messaged back and you're like,
toys.
Yeah, man. Dude, like you got the orange cab right there. You got the Mesa Boogie.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so jelly of that. Like what model is that though?
Yeah, we're drilling a little bit.
There? This is
That's the Road King, which it's basically
Oh
it's
yeah,
a
that's
dual,
the head right there.
Yeah, it's a dual rectifier, but the difference is you can change. It has EL34s and 6L6s. So each channel you can tell, do you want EL34s or do you want 6L6s or do you want all of it together?
Okay.
So I think it'll go from 30 watts to 130 watts, depending on how you set it. Which is fucking ludicrous, man. 130
Dude,
watts
that's
is
fucking
insane.
ace, man. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, I used to have like a Vox. Well, it was it was it was a Vox AC30, but it was like the valve hybrid. Okay. So it was like solid state and valve, like
probably preamp valves, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But it sounded so pristine. It was so great. Didn't have any like frills or anything, but it was just like you plug in through your pedal board or whatever effects you're going through, and you put it into that thing, and it's just so amazing. Another thing that I got rid of. I keep doing that.
I still have some of your stuff if you ever want to buy it back.
I know. Yeah, I sold some of my stuff to Jake. Right? I sold what like my boss pedal, like
was it the ME50?
Yeah, the ME. Wait, ME
or ME30?
M something. M80.
Yeah,
and I sold you my Yamaha bass.
Yep, I still have that.
Yeah.
What do you got?
It's funny how you still have
now.
That.
What's your now? What do you got?
So this is okay. So my friend David is letting me borrow his Fender Mustang practice amp.
Yep.
Essentially.
Sweet. Rad. Dope.
Which sounds great. But like I actually like a lot of times plug into my little Focusrite audio interface.
Yep. Cool.
And do amp sim.
Go through. Yep.
But some people don't. Some people are like, oh man, amp sims suck. I don't know. Whatever sounds good is good. Is kind of how I look at it.
You're living dorm right now.
Yeah,
you're living in a dorm.
Yeah, and I am living in a dorm. So I have these PreSonus monitors here, and they sound amazing. And so I basically plug it into this little Focusrite, playing like with Amplitude. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yep.
But yeah,
absolutely. That's my Rode setup.
Oh, nice.
When we go,
nice.
when we go in the van, I'm doing the same thing.
And I actually have I actually bought like a Mesa Boogie emulation on there. It actually sounds pretty good.
Awesome.
I mean,
I bet.
Yeah. But so I don't know. That's kind of just what I plug into when I'm just jamming out, doing whatever.
There's that. I've been kind of drooling over, Universal Audio, the recording company.
Yep, absolutely. They make like a lot of good hardware. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a new guitar modulation. It's an interface just for guitars. I think it's called Amp or Reamp or something like that. It's tiny. It's like this big. Okay. And you go through your computer, but it has all of those plugins that this is the problem. The reason why I haven't gotten it yet. I think that box is around $400, which isn't bank breaking, but it's okay. But then all of the plugins, they're like minimum $130.
Yeah.
So each amp you want.
Dude, it adds up. It adds up, man.
Very fast.
That would add up real quick.
Yep.
Yeah. One of my favorite plugins, I don't know if you're familiar with Valhalla, but
what do I? That's that. I know
they
that
make like reverb. They make reverb plugins. Okay. But there's this, and I don't know if you're into this type of stuff. I listen to like a lot of post rock stuff, like really noisy, like freaking, but reverby drenched. I listen to like shoegaze and all that shit. But like, they make this plugin called Shimmer, and it's $50 plugin, but it's well worth it. Amazing plugin. You can do like so much cool shit on that. It just like sounds like I don't know.
Delays and reverb
anyway,
and
EQ,
right?
I'm super into like that type of stuff. Probably a little bit too much into that stuff.
H9 does that.
I'm not going to comment on that one, Jay.
You're not gonna? Okay.
I'm not gonna comment on that one.
That's cool. It's cool. No worries.
I've been getting into that same exact thing, man. That's what those eventides do. They do it. Oh my God, they do it so well. Just really glassy, super wet. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's just like this kind of like, I don't know. I get really into that kind of
euphoric shimmer to it.
Shimmer. That kind of euphoric, like drenched out, freaking delayed. It's just, I don't know.
I'm right there with you.
I'm a nerd with that stuff. I love it. But,
It used to be like, obviously I used to be very into metal. But I rarely use the full overdriven sound on those rectifiers anymore. There's a time and a place for them, but I don't live in them like I used to.
Yeah, I think I remember in that interview you were saying like, so what were some of the bands you were into like back in the day or even now, like whatever?
Now, God, most of the stuff that I listen to now is female fronted, like
really cool.
Yeah, Fantagram and
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like Metric. I really like Metric a lot.
Metric. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, sweet.
So things have I still like something that drives, but it's left the metal days that it was of my youth.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I listened to.
I was going to ask you about Gwar.
Yeah.
I was reading that you're working on something, a Gwar documentary.
They're doing a Gwar documentary. I wonder what has all happened because of this world. I just did an interview with them. It's a documentary that has been going for maybe the last year and a half. I think they went on the road with the band. A lot of it is about Brocky, before he passed. And how they do what they do, the work that goes behind taking something like that on the road, the designing of the costumes, all of that stuff. Like we went and saw them when they came to Atlanta a few months ago, maybe back in November. And it was the first time that I realized that all of those other characters that are on the stage, the non-band members that come out to like get their dicks chopped off or masturbate the lead singer, the gimp characters, they're actually the roadies, so these guys, like, imagine that workload. You've got to unload the band, set it up, make sure, like, you're a guitar tech and a roadie, and you're a fucking gimp. Like, that's just that's an insane workload.
Yeah,
and the band doesn't.
They have to do all of it.
Yep.
That makes it that much harder.
Yep. And imagine having to take care of those costumes because the thing has to live. It has to be designed strong enough to last 5 months on the road. And if anything were to break, because there's all those practical effects that they use as well, you got to be able to repair it. That would be exhausting.
Yeah.
I had been meaning to see Gwar live for years and years, but I kept putting it off.
Have you ever been? You've never been?
No, I did. Well, I did.
He did.
Finally, I think it was 2013.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Madness at the Core of Time, that tour.
Yeah.
I got to see them then.
And when did Brocky die? Was that with...
that was with Brocky.
Before he passed? That was with Brocky.
That was with Odorous, yeah.
Yeah, rad.
And it wasn't too long after that that Odorous left, so.
Right. It's pretty silly, ain't it?
Yeah. Yeah. The one I was at, they disemboweled Justin Bieber.
Sweet.
And they killed the Queen of England and stuff like that.
Love it. I love how they always inject a political slant to their show. Like, I remember the first time that I saw them, late 90s, it was all like the Clintons, Monica, Bill, and Hillary on stage battling out to the death.
I think this last time that I saw him in November, of course, it was like Trump and Bill Barr, you know, it was all political. I love it.
Yeah. And it doesn't
Nice.
matter which political party or anything like that. That they're just like anti-human.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So good. So silly.
So, all right. So Ethan, we've been talking about music. We've been talking about whatever. We can talk about anything we want, but I wanted to at least touch on a little bit some of your career. If that's
Sure.
cool. When it comes to like some movies you've been in.
Sure.
Because like I think the first movie I saw you in was Dutch when I was like 13.
Okay.
And that was like really cool. What was it like working with Ed O'Neill?
Dude, he's awesome. He was awesome then, and he's still awesome now. I got the show that I'm doing right now. Our makeup artist was the head makeup artist on Modern Family. So she had been working with Ed. They've been doing that for 11 years together. And so she had, right before all of this went down, they were just finishing up the show, the very final end show. And she had me come down, and I got to hang out with Ed in his trailer before he went to work. Like, sat the shit for a good hour in there. He's awesome. And he's always been that way. Like he found his success in Hollywood late. So he had a long life of being a regular guy and struggling, you know, working class. For a while. So he doesn't take what he has for granted at all, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's a really cool
and then
dude.
when he hit it big on Married with Children, he ended up being working class again in a way.
Yeah,
exactly.
I watched that show,
exactly.
so I was like I had a huge crush on Christina Applegate.
Of course.
That show all the time. Everybody did from that era. But like
you were a guy when that was on the TV.
You know, I was a teenager, you know.
Yeah. He's such a fantastic dramatic actor too. We were talking like, because he's hit the lottery twice with Married with Children. If you think about it, the whole reason why the Fox network exists is that show and The Simpsons, you know?
Yep.
Back then, those were the shows.
That was it.
They were a new network.
I remember watching like Married with Children, The Simpsons, Parker Lewis Can't Lose, if you remember that show.
Absolutely. And Cops.
I think we all Cops. Oh my God, that came out like around then, right?
Yeah.
Is that still? Are they still doing Cops?
Cops is still
they have that
on.
live. They got that live PD
what is it,
thing.
Like one of the longest lasting shows of like all time or something?
Simpsons, I think.
Simpsons.
I think
Simpsons is definitely the longest animated.
Yeah. Nah.
I think
MASH.
I think Sesame Street.
Oh yeah, MASH.
Is like really long.
Sesame Street, yeah, absolutely.
I
wonder how long MASH was around.
I remember watching MASH with my dad when I was like 6 years old.
Didn't that go for 20 years or something crazy?
It was a while. Yeah.
And then you got Law and Order. Law and Order.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he did.
Yeah.
and then Ethan, you also did I haven't seen it, but I was like intrigued to like watch it. Like you did like Dragnet with
yeah. So
what was that like? Like how did that come about? That's interesting.
That actually, so when that came together, I was a part of that show before Ed got signed on to it.
Okay.
We had started making the show with a different actor, and it all fell apart. And I thought that it was going to go away completely. I thought that I was also going to be put on the chopping block. But when I found out that Ed was going to come in to replace the other actor, I reached out and I was like, you guys should watch Dutch.
No, it just seems like that would have been like really cool.
Yeah.
I like that you have like a connection with him, and I think sounds like you guys.
The funny thing with Ed
hit it off pretty well.
It always takes him, and I'm sure that this is everybody. I do not take it personally. I know that it's not a reflection of mine and Ed's relationship. I think it's just Ed. But each time I see him, there's about 2 minutes where he's not quite sure he knows me.
That's
like Ed.
Just trying to recollect.
And so I found. Do you guys know Mondo posters? Have you heard of those? Mondo.
I don't know. Do you know, Jake?
I haven't heard of that. No.
It's a company. They hire artists to do limited edition artwork for soundtracks or limited edition movie posters. So they'll have artists come in and paint, draw, whatever, design a limited edition version of an old classic movie. And then they make 200 of them and you can buy them on the, anyway, I found a Dutch Mondo poster. And I got a couple. The artist was rad and sent me a couple. So I brought that to Ed when I saw him. And when I unrolled it, because I walked in, he's like, what are you doing? Hey, what is this? You know? So I started unrolling. I was like, oh, it's this. I found this. And he goes, oh, the Dutch. Yeah, I remember that movie. And then he looked at me and then he put it together. He was like, oh, Ethan. Yeah. Good old Ed. Yeah. He's rad. He's fantastic. He's probably the richest man in Hollywood too, you know?
Yeah.
He, you don't strike gold like that very often. He doesn't spend a dime of his money. He doesn't spend
that's a good way to be, man. Like
yep.
I'm poor as hell and I spend way too much money.
I mean, him not spending money would probably put our spending money to shame. But there is one story that I've heard about Ed that is amazing. So he had a house on a cul-de-sac in one of the nicest neighborhoods in Los Angeles. And he went and he bought this house, and that property alone, you know, is very secluded. And he only shares any space at all with the other person that owns the other house on the cul-de-sac. I don't know how it came to be, but I think he got wind the guy was considering selling the house. Like, it hadn't gone up for sale yet. I think somehow he just got wind that they were considering selling it, and he immediately bought that other house next door to him. So he owns a street in LA, and I think that house just sits empty. He just doesn't want anybody else to live there, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Amazing.
He just keeps his lawnmower over there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he'll otherwise he lives a very unfrilly life. I think he takes very, very nice vacations, and that's about it. He probably still owns a flip phone.
Dude, I actually still have a flip phone.
They're coming back, dude. Don't get rid of it.
Dude, I'm not going to get rid of it. It's nice. It's actually like I use it kind of as like an emergency.
Yeah.
Well, I use it as an alarm clock, so I wake up for class. But like, but other than that, yeah, for sure.
They're coming back. They're making that Samsung folds. Have you seen that thing? That's crazy.
Yeah. That is ridiculous.
It is like the one I have is a Samsung. It's an old one, but it's kind of funny.
Now, so one of the other things we're dealing with this virus, a lot of people are getting really paranoid about the tracking element of what's coming soon. Like these apps that they're going to have us download that will contact trace.
Oh.
A lot of people, that's one side that.
Yeah, that's another element to throw.
It's kind of frustrating that they're freaking out about that though, because I don't see how else we're going to stop this thing.
I don't know, man. Like I've had a lot of conversations about this with people, and I just kind of like came to the conclusion I have no idea what we should do.
I think it's too early to know what we should do.
Yeah.
I think it's still
like,
too early.
I kind of felt like, man, I don't like being like locked in, but at the same time, I don't like to see people get hurt and all this shit happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
we're finding
it's just
out,
like it's a really complex situation, and it's hard to know like how to like tackle it.
even in just the last month, we've learned that so it's a small percentage of fatalities,
right?
But a much larger percentage of people that do recover end up having permanent
lung
organ
damage.
Yeah, lung, heart, kidneys.
What is it? There's like some kind of thing where it's like it's almost like, well, like, I don't know if I'm right about this or not, but like pneumonia or it's kind of like has a relation to that where it's almost like
they call it a cytokine storm, I think is how I'm pronouncing. So our immune system is made up, I don't know if they're proteins or genes or what a cytokine is, but our immune system is made up of, I know it goes up to 27, cytokine 27, but our immune system is made up of a bunch of different cytokines. And when our immune system fights a bacteria or a virus, an infection of some sort, it sends out these cytokines to attack whatever is infecting us.
Yeah.
But because our immune system, it's because we've never been exposed to this, our immune system is freaking out and not being able to differentiate between the virus and our own tissue. So our immune system is going in and eating apart lung tissue, heart tissue, kidney tissue. So the damage that's coming, like they're saying up to 30% lung capacity loss.
Yeah, no, I was reading the exact same thing. It was like, in a lot of cases, there's like, you know, and they were saying, I mean, this could be
and that's irreparable. That's irreparable.
I mean, I read something where, like if you do certain types of exercises, it might help a little bit, but it's not going to be like, you're not going to ever get back to like.
That's just going to be to cope, to get
by.
Like,
like some of the doctors are just like swimming and whatever, and like certain like aerobic exercises might help a bit, but you're not going to get back to like.
Nope. A 40-year-old patient.
There's no way.
40-year-old patient that lives through the infection has a very high likelihood of walking away with 80-year-old lungs.
Dude, that sucks, man. Because I'm 42. Yeah. That doesn't sound good.
No. Just last year, I actually went into the hospital for a week. I almost died of pneumonia last year. I waited at home because I thought it was just a cold or something, but it was just horrible. And I just sat at home for almost a week when I finally went into the ER, I was in sepsis, and I'm pretty much 100% better now, but
still recovering.
Yeah, but you had like sleep.
I have the utmost sympathy for these people. Anybody that has to deal with anything respiratory, it's
horrible,
hell.
Dude. It sucks. Like I'll just. I don't even know if I have it right here. No, I have like an inhaler. I was diagnosed with like bronchial spasms or whatever. Yeah. So I'm not exactly in the best position to deal with something like this if I was to get infected. You know
I think too, the messaging I think there's been a major flaw in the messaging from the very beginning because they're trying to keep us from freaking out about it. This whole thing about, it all started with you worry more about the flu, and then trying to send out the message that the most at-risk population are seniors or people with underlying health conditions,
or just like young children also,
yeah,
or just people with like immune disease.
Everybody.
Yeah,
it's fucking everybody.
Yeah.
It's a horrible virus.
Yeah, it sucks, dude.
I just wish that somebody up there at the top would come out and say that. Like, this is awful. This is not a fucking walk in the park.
It's not. And yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm curious what.
I am kind of curious, like how is this gonna play out? Like how long?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like.
Yep, I do.
How long is it gonna take?
I don't necessarily agree with how the government's handling everything, or necessarily disagree for that matter. But I mean, I am just going along with it. I mean,
yeah. I don't see
because I'm not in any position to decide what's best for everybody. So I mean, I just have to trust them.
Not knowing if we can be infected twice, I really don't see any other option than trying to.
Yeah, because we don't really know that, do we?
We don't know that.
We don't.
We don't know.
There's so many things that we don't know about.
Yep.
This right now.
We don't know if this causes birth defects. We don't know if this causes major fertility issues. So if we just say, okay, let's just get everybody infected, only 1 to 3% of us are gonna die. So fuck it, let's go out.
Let's
and everybody
let's just go.
We have no idea what
whoever survives.
That kind of crap.
Yeah, that's.
I think it's incredibly stupid. Let's face it, we live in an economy built on debt. Money is not real. Money it's a construct at this point. It's not a tangible thing. So if they wanted to, we could keep doing everything at the same level and just put pause on the actual debt. Like they could keep giving us all $1,500 checks for up to 7 months before they even flinch.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that. Like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Like, because I'm just like, on one level, there's people that's like, yeah, we can't do that, and then there's like other people are like, it's not real.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Proposed stimulus plans for ongoing stimulus was that they were going to give everybody a stimulus, everybody in the entire country.
Yep.
Whether they have a social security number or not, the homeless, the rich, there's everybody.
$2,000. Yeah. Universal basic
and they were going to pay for it by minting $1 or $2 trillion coins.
Yep.
To pay for it, and I
need.
can't even begin to understand how that makes sense, but apparently
because money's not real. The only thing that they would have to figure out how to overcome after that would be getting a control on inflation. You know, but deal with that. Deal with that later. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully we'll get through this shit.
Oh, yeah, I think we'll get through it.
I think we will. I think we will. We'll figure it out. We'll make
it. Shit will be different.
It's harder on some people than
others.
Let's
be optimistic. What?
It's harder on some people than others. So
it is.
Absolutely.
And
a lot of people are optimistic, but other people are in a lot more of a dire circumstance. So
that's true, and that's actually that's been a really hard topic for me because I have friends that are essentially pretty much just homeless. Yeah. And I was homeless for a little bit, not for too long, thank goodness. Yep. But I kind of wonder how do they deal with this
and the food lines, not having a home to shelter in.
And I was wondering because when I was on the street for a little bit, and this was not all that long ago. This was a year ago. It was 2019. I was on the street for a little bit, and I was trying to go to shelters, and they turned me away, and that was not fun. And so I wonder, well, how bad is it now for those people?
Horrible.
The system's already overpacked.
It's got to be a nightmare, man. And then these soup kitchens, I don't know how they're dealing with the social distancing thing and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to help people on the streets, but also trying to you know, keep things at bay when it comes to like Corona, and it's
Yep.
just how I don't even know how they're doing it. Like it's kind of crazy.
And the there a friend of mine said it really well recently. He said right now there's two types of people. There's people that can help or people that need help. And if you're one of the can, you better be helping, you know? I took that one to heart. Some people can't afford to help. Some people just, and that's fine. There's no shame. There's absolutely no shame in saying, I just can't afford it without putting myself in a dangerous situation. But if you're able to, fucking step up and do your part.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
feel
help.
like the
I want to feel like I can do something about it.
But you're
broke ass college student.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't stress about it. I would say in your situation, the way you can help is by being responsible with the virus. You know.
Yeah.
Don't add to the infection rate. Stay home.
Right.
Yep.
Just
keep track of your fucking hygiene. Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And that's it.
Oh, for sure.
That right there is all you need to do. You know, person in my position where I'm still getting paid, but I'm not doing anything. Like if I didn't do something to make my community around me a little better, I would be a piece of shit. So, because you don't have to look very far to find somebody that needs help right now. You really don't.
Right. Absolutely. And it's not even just like, and even if you think you can't help somebody, it doesn't have to be like a monetary thing. Just like a support, just a support for them. Because I have friends, you know, friends on my Facebook, and I'm just like, they're going through like nightmares, and I'm just like, dude, like, you want to talk sometime? Hit me up. You want to like, if you need like a little bit of food, whatever, hit me up. Like I'll help you. I'll help you like however I can, within reason. You know, whatever I can do. But yeah, no, for sure, dude. That's I like that. I like that sentiment. Go ahead, Jake.
I think that we're very fortunate that this.
Oh yeah, I hear.
Hey.
Internet was crapping out a little bit. Sorry, guys.
All I was gonna say earlier is just amplified everybody's personality. Like the people that were a little bit greedy got really greedy, and the people that, you know, were generally nice, you know, were even more nice. So it just kind of like made everybody show their true colors a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it did kind of bring out some of that stuff, for better or worse. Like, I don't know, but like,
we're not
totally
that people can change. I mean,
it's
of course they can, and I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it's the virus is in this strange area where it's devastating, but it's not civilization ending.
Right. It's not like 12 Monkeys or anything.
Yeah,
it's
seen
that.
Just, of course.
But it is bad. Not to diminish it. Like it is bad.
But that's the thing is it's bad. It's bad. It's causing a lot of pain and suffering and hurt, and a lot of the scientists that I follow say that April could be the deadliest month that humanity has ever seen. You know,
man, I hope not. Wait, we just experienced April though.
Or May. Sorry.
May. Okay, no, you're good. You're good.
Time is a construct as well. Time.
It doesn't. That's what I hear.
There was this one doctor I follow. He was talking about the curve of death and how from March through the middle of April or even February, you go back as far as February and January, people in China dying, the death curve was pretty flat, you know?
And then as we started going through April, it started creeping up. And if you take the graph that he made, and it just started inching up before we got to May. And it's going to keep increasing at the pace that it was. And if it does that throughout all of May, we're looking at 1 million dead every month. And
I would really hope that would not.
I mean,
but it's scary. It's a scary thought. Yeah.
But it will, and it's going to. It's now in Africa. It hasn't hit India the way that it can.
I've read a little bit. I've read a little bit of some of the news in India lately, and I kind of have like mixed feelings about certain things because there's like, and this is kind of controversial, and I don't know what to think about it, but like some people are really like, oh, we need to get back to work, and then other people are like, no, dude, we got to be careful and like all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if because you got to be careful what you read in the news, right?
Sure.
But yeah, like, so some people in India are just like, we're dying because of
the economic freeze.
Because of the economic freeze. But it's also like really important to pay attention to the virus. So it's kind of like, it's like a catch-22. It almost feels like sometimes. So it's like,
it is
like, how do you balance it out and still allow people to make money and live and also stay safe from the virus?
Well, we live in this global economy that we have, where the wealthy nations take advantage of the labor from the poor. And now we're dealing with a virus that doesn't care about country boundaries. So America, Europe, Japan, none of these countries are going to be safe until all of the virus is gone. You can't just let it brew in Brazil and think that you're going to be safe in the United States. You have to stamp it out in Brazil.
Because it'll like, it came to Washington. It came to Washington.
Yeah.
It's like, it just, I remember
Europe and the United States have done a really horrible job of investing what they need to stop it. There's been some wealthy Asian countries that have been pretty impressive. Australia and New Zealand also.
Was South Korea pretty good with it too? Or
South Korea was. They attacked it. They put a lot of money behind it and attacked it. There's new stories coming out of South Korea that looks like it's bad again. Because they opened a nightclub and one infected person went out to 5 different nightclubs, and they think it's now exploding again.
Oh, man.
That's the thing. It only takes one person to.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like exponential,
Yep.
It just like freaking boom.
And we're still looking at 20 to 30,000 infections a day here in the United States.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I
Anyway.
feel like, Anyway, on a lighter note, Ethan, like, I don't know how long you're up to like hang out. I don't want to take that too much of your time up, but I did want to talk about a couple other things too.
What do you got?
Okay, so me and my friend Jake so the movie Vacancy.
Yeah.
With Luke Wilson.
Yep.
So me and my friend Jake, we're like, we have this actor that we like, Frank Whaley, in that movie.
Amazing. Yeah.
He's like your partner in crime in that movie.
Yep.
What was it like to work with him? And
he's dope. He's great, man.
Yeah.
He's really great.
We've always been like a huge fan of his, like
he's
career
fantastic.
Opportunities, like back in the day, Swimming with Sharks. Like, he's been in so much good stuff, but he's not one of those actors that everybody automatically knows. But he's such a good actor. He's so good.
Yeah, he's a perfect example. I mean, you know, he's a character actor. You know, highly talented character actor. I don't know what he's doing right now, or what he was doing before all of this happened. But he'll always.
The last
work,
thing I remember him being in was Under the Dome. It was on that.
Oh, he was in Under the Dome.
Oh, the show?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing. Right now, there's so many great television shows that
I always like to pay dues to like actors that just freaking they roll it out, that they may not be like the starring actor in a movie, but they're solid.
Yep.
They're working actors, and they put out a good performance, and it's just like really cool. And Frank Whaley was always like one of those guys to me.
I love it when those guys, like an actor like what you're talking about, an actor or an actress that does that, and then the stars line up and they do get to lead a film. Those are always my favorite films. And those kind of actors, you know, like Willem Dafoe, you know.
Oh yeah. But I want to throw that out there because, man, when I saw that movie, I actually didn't recognize you at first. I remember like watching
a mask the whole time.
Well, yeah, you were, and like, but at the beginning of the movie, and I talked to some people about this, and they're just like, dude, it was so creepy when you're like, you go up to the car.
I had like a sparkler,
and you give a sparkler to Kate Beckinsale. And it was just like, it just kind of like set the mood for the entire movie, and like, I just thought that was so cool. But I didn't recognize you at first.
On that, our DP was really amazing. I can't remember his name. He shot Pulp Fiction though.
Oh shit, yeah.
And the director of that was a Hungarian director, and I believe that the cinematographer was also Hungarian. They're always the guys that I admire the most on shows, the cinematographers. I can't remember his name because I'm an asshole.
Don't say that.
But that was a very interesting job to do. I literally just banged on doors and ran around the background with a mask on.
Yeah. But no, that movie kind of like freaked me out a little bit.
It was pretty disgusting.
Scary. It was kind of scary.
It was pretty disgusting.
So you played an Uber delivery person in that film?
Basically, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Pre-COVID.
I think your official character name was the mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I don't know. I just remember being like, wow, like that's
it's pretty.
I just like that movie. I don't know. I mean, it is a disgusting movie, but like, you know, like it's a horror movie, whatever.
Yeah, there's a market
okay.
Yeah.
I have to say though, if we're talking about disgusting movies, cheap thrills. Let's talk about that for a second.
That's the kind of disgusting, like deep inside your soul disgusting.
Yeah, that one I think kind of like takes the cake for disgusting, but at the same time, it was so like when I watched that movie, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
it was so like, it's so messed up, but it's so beautifully messed up.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to put it. How did that come about, and what was your experience with that?
That one, that was one of the the writer director, Evan Katz. It was his first film directing. He had written films and I believe edited, but him and his co-writer had a movie idea that they could shoot for next to no money. They didn't need any money. They always joke that the budget for the film was lower than the money in the bag. And the director had seen a show that I did on Showtime. So when I read the script, I was already his choice, which is a rare opportunity. And I loved it because when I read it, I was living in my car. And it was about,
I think Jake's done that too.
Yeah,
actually, yeah, you
I've
did
been
do
there.
that, Jake. Right?
Yeah.
We've all
when
been
I
there.
moved,
We've all lived in our
because
cars.
I grew up with him over on the other side of the state, and then when I moved over
Right.
here, I lived in my car for
Yeah, I remember when you were
5 months
living
or
in your
so.
car.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
sorry, not to
No, no.
derail.
Anyway,
Keep
go
going.
ahead.
But no, so I identified with it. And it's funny, I thought that it was, when I first read that movie, I read it differently than the way we started filming it, because it kind of landed so close to home, you know. I took it a lot more serious than they intended. And then when they ended up casting David Koechner to play the one lead, it's like, oh, that's the movie we're making.
Yeah.
Got it. You know?
Yeah.
And we shot that film in 14 days.
Wow. That's kind of impressive.
Yeah. Because it was 4 people in a house. And then I think 4 or 5 other locations. There was Patrick Healy's apartment was another location, the strip club,
And
where
sorry. Oh,
yeah, the bar, like the bar that we all meet. So I think there were just a handful of, of other locations. So it was, we the way we made that movie, it was almost like shooting a play, because we had 2, sometimes 3 cameras, and nothing was marked, and we would never know what the camera was looking at when we were shooting. We would just go and we would do, some of those scenes were like 14 pages long, you know? So we'd go in and we'd kind of rehearse and know this is where we're going, and kind of very loosely nail it down. And we'd start shooting and we would just do it over and over and over and over, never knowing. Usually the process is the actor knows what the camera is looking at. But the director wanted us to just do it. And we, a few days into it, we all went to him and were like, it's really hard not knowing what you guys are looking at. And he said, we're looking at everything all the time. That's how this is. We are looking at everything all the time. And he did it. He nailed it. I think he did a really good job.
How do you think that, like, okay, so that was kind of like a different process, but like, how do you think it, like, what do you think, if any kind of effect it had on any of the performances? Was that like,
I think it, I think it,
do you
totally
think it like,
helped. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. It made it exhausting because I'm the type of actor that even when I am not quote unquote on camera, I'm going to give the same performance that I would if I'm on camera. But there is something that is amped up a little when the stakes are higher, where it is your take, you know? I don't know if it's just an anxiety or the perfectionism kicks in, you know? But to have that for every single take, it gets exhausting.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see that. Yeah.
But I think
they might have thought it would be more organic, but then it may have had the opposite effect because you were more on edge than you normally would have been.
Yeah, well, because it's like kind of like outside of the norm, right? Like,
but none of us were used to it, and I think that played into like all of us not being used to that process. Definitely,
that's not typical.
Not typical at all.
Yeah.
But I think all of that added to it. It was one of those, like, sometimes you make enough mistakes that you end up with a good movie, and that movie made the perfect amount of mistakes, you know? Like, good movies are made on accident.
And happy accidents.
Yep, exactly.
Bob Ross. But let's see. So not to take up too much of your time, man, but like, because we probably have to wrap it up pretty soon here. But what's a couple other things I want to talk about? So certain movies you've been in, like it don't seem to come up in other interviews as much, but I remember one of my favorite movies growing up, and like a movie that I watched with my family, was what was it? Reese Witherspoon, 93.
Far Off Place.
Far Off Place.
Deep cuts.
How was that?
Deep cuts.
Like, I really love that movie, man. Like that was actually one of like the first movies that like brought me notice of you, because I was just like, my family, that was like a family movie. We would watch that together.
Yeah, classic Disney.
Great movie. Great movie.
Yep.
How was?
But you're right. It's very obscure at this point. It's a very obscure.
It's. I think at the time. I mean, I just think that like not a lot of people bring it up in interviews, but it's such a great film. It's such a that's my feelings on it. Like,
I think my favorite memories from that, of course, is being in Africa for the amount of time that it took to make that movie. We were down there for a long time, and it was at a really transitional period of my life. I went
because you were what, like 14 years old, or
I think I turned 14 or 13 or 14. Yeah. I may have turned 13 down there. But I didn't come back the same person, that I left. The person that left and the person that came back were two completely different people.
And do you think that was like kind of like a rite of passage, kind of like a good thing?
Yeah,
like
I do.
Something like that? Or?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And not necessarily not the film itself, just Africa, the people that I met, and then things changed in my personal life as well. But all of those things happening at the same time. Africa is a pretty incredible place.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know. And I remember, I think, because I remember watching that movie, and one of like the really powerful scenes was when like you guys are all in the desert, and what's his name was like pounding his heart or something like, or doing something like, and the guy couldn't shoot you, like the guy in the helicopter, the asshole, like the bad guy. They couldn't hit you, and I just thought that was such a powerful, really coolly written part of the movie.
That guy Sorrel Bach was his name. What was his character name? Trying to remember his character name, and it's not coming to me. But he was a bushman. He lived, in South Africa, there's a few bushman reservations. I don't know how prevalent they are now, but one of the guys on the crew ran the preservation society that made sure that their culture and their way of life is not intruded upon, and the guy that played that bushman lived on one of those reservations, and so he had never seen a white guy. He had never been in a car. At the beginning, he didn't speak English. He only spoke Bushman and a little bit of, not Afrikaans, but it may have been Afrikaans.
Swahili.
I get confused. Yeah, Swahili. Yeah, Swahili. That was it. And seeing who, because we were down there for a very long time, so seeing who he was at the end. Again, he totally different person. And when the film was done and there was a premiere, they flew him to Los Angeles, and he stayed with me, and we went to Disneyland.
Nice. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he was amazing. Yeah.
Well, that's good that you both got exposed to different cultures.
Yeah,
that's always a good thing.
Deep cuts. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to go run, make sure my madre's good.
All right, man. Well, thanks, dude. Thank you so much for doing this, dude.
Absolutely, man. It was good to talk to you.
Nice to meet you, Ethan.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you too, Jake.
Yeah.
You guys
So
be safe out there.
Yeah, you too, and I hope everything works out in Georgia, and I hope that everything starts to get a little bit more normalized. We can get things rolling again. You know?
Yeah. Good luck with the rest of your school year.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
All right, man.
See you guys. Thanks for having me, man.
Yep.
All right, later.
See you, man. See you.
Bye.